Good afternoon. Good to be with you again from Marysfield. This is Bill Pfeiffer speaking. We're still a work in progress, and there's some kinks that my son Bob, the producer of all of this, we're working them out. We're getting a little bit better and better by the day. The brain researchers say that each day we have between 60 and 70,000 thoughts, and that 90% of them are negative. That's really a sad thing. That means most people are walking around with this heaviness, with this sadness. And in a culture which is producing this by the ton, it becomes very difficult to be able to lift yourself up and to be able to be positive. And that's why hopefully that coming here to Marysfield, that's one of the intentions, is to be able to offer some inspiration. At the same time, some challenge. You can't have all vanilla. Sometimes you need something a little bit more than pablum to be able to make sure that people are thinking about the right things in a deep enough way to be able to continue to grow. And remember yesterday the nice prayer that we ended with, Lord, help me to believe the truth about myself, no matter how beautiful it is. Lifting up. I hope you said that a couple of times on your own throughout the rest of yesterday. Everyone wants to change the human race. Everybody wants to change the whole human family. But there aren't many people who say, gee, the problem could possibly be with me and that I really need to do something to change myself. Remember the prayer of the old man the other day? As he was young, he prayed, Lord, help me to change the whole world and I'll be happy. Middle-aged, he says, Lord, help me to change the whole world, or to change my wife and children, and I'll be happy. And he becomes an old man and he prays, Lord, help me to change myself. And if I had done that in the beginning, I wouldn't have wasted my life. So everybody wants to, change the world. But the really most important thing is to be able to do the job on yourself, so that once you become transformed and whole, everything you touch in some way, even consciously or subconsciously, gets touched by that wholeness. Transform people, transform and change other people. And we do that largely not by working, I don't know what to say, feverishly on ourselves. I'm changing me, I'm changing me, I'm changing me. But more by surrendering yourself to God, the ultimate changer, and allowing Him to be the source and the power and the transformative energy in your life. You truly, literally can't take the next breath without God's permission, without Him thinking of you. If He stopped thinking of you, you wouldn't be breathing. And so our relationship is one of total dependence, and as a result, we need to allow Him to be in charge of things. And once you do that, that's a big step in our relationship and in our spiritual lives. Frank lived in New York, and he had a brother John in Dallas. And every year, Frank would take a journey from New York to Dallas to spend a week with his brother. John in Dallas owned a very big Buick dealership and was a very successful businessman in selling cars. Frank visited John, and they spent the whole week together. They went out to restaurants, they had nice meals, they even took a plane ride to Houston to watch the Astros and Yankees play for a couple of days, and they had a great week. And at the end of the week, John said to his brother Frank, as he was leaving and saying goodbye, Frank, I'd like you to have the gift of this brand new, beautiful Buick convertible. And Frank, overwhelmed by his brother's generosity, said, well, boy, I just can't believe this, but thank you so much for your goodness, and you're such a good brother. Frank left and started heading back to New York, and because of road work that was taking place in and around Dallas, he found himself lost on a side road. And before a kind of a hovel, rickety steps going up, one or two wooden rooms, and so on. But he needed directions. So he went up the steps, knocked on the door, and he could hear footsteps running inside, and about a 12-year-old boy seemed to quickly come and open up the door. And behind him was a little fellow, about 4 or 5, in a wheelchair, and then behind him came the mother and the family. And John asked the mother for directions to how to get back find his way back onto the main highway to continue his journey to New York, and the mother provided those directions. After she did, he said thank you, walked down the steps. The 12-year-old scampered around the side of him, was down looking at this Buick with big Google eyes. You know, he's touching the paint job, feeling the leather in the inside, looking at the instrumentation and thinking, oh my goodness, how could this thing be parked in front of my house? You know, just an absolutely wonderful, wonderful thing. Frank told him the story of how he got the car. His brother John had given it to him. And the little boy, after thinking about it for a while, said to Frank, I wish I could. I wish I could. And how do you think he finished that sentence? I wish I could. I think most of us would have finished it. Boy, I wish I could have a brother like that. I wish I could own this gorgeous piece of machinery, this Buick. Boy, I wish I could be so lucky. How do you think he ended that sentence? I wish I could. The little boy said to Frank, I wish I could be a brother like that. I wish I could be a brother like that. His brother was in a wheelchair, and I'm sure the mother was always saying, take care of your brother, help your brother needs. And, you know, again, forgetting himself and thinking of others. I wish I could be a brother like that. And that's the message for today. You know, I wish I could be a brother like that. At the Last Supper, Jesus, right before he's ready to go, he's saying all kinds of important things to his apostles. And the one thing he did say was, I give you a new commandment. Not a suggestion, not something that's optional. I give you a command. We like commandments, don't we? I mean, we love rules. We love to have people run our lives despite what we say. We want to know where we're at and what we have to do. So he said, I give you a new commandment. Love one another the way that I have loved you. And of course, that begins in a very essential way with the people with whom you are living. If it's not working at home, don't transport it. The love that you have to give to the people that you live with, that you work with, that you relax with, that's the most important love, because you can't fool those people. Your love has to become something that's genuine. So again, today, do whatever he tells you. Thank you. It's been good being with you. God bless. Peace.